to put your mics on. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to ask members of the audience and folks at the table to turn your phones off. Also, commissioners, please move your phones away from the microphone. Okay, I'd also like to note that we have sign language interpreters available. Is there anyone who needs assistance in that regard? Okay, in the event someone comes in who needs assistance in terms of sign language interpretation, they are to see, please direct them to Miss Pam Dunster.
That's cats inside the brain.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this hearing of the United States Commission on Civil Rights will come to order. Our purpose today is to collect facts and information regarding the Department of Justice's actions related to the new Black Panther Party litigation and its enforcement of Section 11B of the Voting Rights Act. The Commission began its investigation of this matter almost a year ago, in June of 2009. This hearing is an outgrowth of that project. Notice regarding the time, place, and content of this hearing appeared in the Federal Register on March 18, 2010, pursuant to the Commission's regulations. Since its inception, the U.S. Commission on Civil Rights has had a special mandate over issues of voting and voting rights. In fact, one of the Commission's first official projects upon its establishment by the Civil Rights Act of 1957, the same act that created the Civil Rights Division at the Department of Justice, was to convene hearings in Alabama to look for evidence of racial discrimination in voting there. Witness after witness testified of efforts to interfere with their right to vote, whether by threats, intimidation, coercion, trickery, or the erection of legal or other impediments. The data gathered by the Commission formed the basis for the Voting Rights Act of 1965, which is unequivocal in its command that no person, whether acting under color of law.
An incident of harassment at a voting place in Fairmont, at the polling center, that a couple of white guys in suits intimidated and voted. Since I was the only white guy in a suit around there, I assumed she was talking about me. I was not talking to anybody, so obviously that disturbed me greatly. And in addition, she said that I should be standing behind two individuals.
Specifically, with regard to that, did you ever hear her talk to the Panther members?
I did not know. But you can see in the YouTube video, you just see where she's standing, and you actually can hear her a little bit.
The whole time that you were there, was she there the whole time as well?
Yeah, the whole time.
Standing directly behind the Panther?
She wasn't standing directly behind him the entire time, but for a period she was, yes. Otherwise she's off the
Did the police ask you any questions? Did you come down when you talked to anybody from the Department of Justice?
Yes. Sometime within the next maybe 2 hours or so. 3 hours. I guess DOJ had some roving attorneys out in cars, and we met with two attorneys. They must have had to rent a car, and we rendezvoused with them in a parking lot. And
that was you and Mr. Hill?
Yes, and the third individual who was with us. And the three of us got in the back of the car, the DOJ attorneys, and we had given statements that were handwritten by the attorneys. I was not given a copy of those statements.
Were you allowed to look at the statement?
No. But I didn't ask, so.
Did you get the name of the DOJ attorneys that you were interviewed by?
I did not. I can't recall. There's two young females.
Did there come a time, did you talk to anybody else from the department?
Yes. I was contacted by Christopher Coates, who's an attorney at the DOJ, and he had wanted to arrange to meet with me to take a statement. They were investigating whether they were going to bring an action district court. I agreed. I met with him and Spencer, I can't recall his last name right now.
Fisher?
Fisher, yes. And I met with them and I gave my statement to them. And then probably a few months later, I met them again and I gave an affidavit, which I signed, which I believe was going to be used as part of the complaint, the injunctive relief that was being filed in federal court.
Did you keep a copy of that statement?
No, I did not get a copy.
At this time, I'd like to direct my questions to Mr. Hill. Mr. Hill, I'm basically going to ask same questions, but if you could, let's start, if you could give your name and profession.
Chris Hill, Senior Registrar for the Hospital at University of Pennsylvania Dermatology.
And you were in Philadelphia for Election Day in 2008?
I was.
And you're a citizen of Philadelphia?
I am indeed.
So were you credentialed to go into polling places?
I was.
What was your purpose of serving as an election officer?
According to my training, they did several nights of training with us because we'd be entering polling places, and we were told that we were there to protect voting rights and provide assistance to voters of either party as needed.
And did there come a time on Election Day that you went to the Fairmont Street location?
Yes, we did.
Why? What was the purpose of your going there?
We were at, I guess, our third or fourth polling location of the morning, and I received a phone call from the head of the poll watchers in Philadelphia, and he said that the poll watcher on site had been threatened, and I was initially told there were 3 Black Panthers there, and he asked if we could swing by, see if that were the case.
About what time did you arrive at the site?
Morning, sometime between 10, 11, somewhere in that time. We started early in the morning, so.
Did you tell the commissioners what you observed when you got there?
I was driving, I was in my Jeep, and as we came down the street, I passed in front of the circular driveway. I could clearly see 2 members of the new Black Panther Party outfitted in their paramilitary garb directly in front of the doors. So we went down the street to the first available parking spot, jumped out, and walked back over to the polling spot.
Could you describe what they look like?
2 African-American males, one taller, one shorter, both dressed in black BDU style, paramilitary garb, berets, black combat boots, patches with New Black Panther Party.
Can you identify those individuals here today?
Mr. Shabazz is the 3rd one in on the 2nd row. That's Mr. Shabazz, I can recognize for sure.
Was anybody carrying anything?
Mr. Shabazz was carrying a nightstick.
And how was he carrying it?
He had a lanyard wrapped around his hand, and as I approached the door, he was slapping it into the palm of his other hand.
Did he say anything to you?
Immediately started with, "What are you doing here, cracker?" And he and Mr. Jackson attempted to close ranks. I went straight between them to get to the door to find our poll watcher, who was inside the building at the time.
And do you recall the name of that person inside?
No, I do not. He was pretty shaken up, and I wasn't really too concerned about finding out what his name was. He was visibly upset.
What did he tell you?
He was told he was called the race traitor for being a poll watcher, credentialed poll watcher for the Republican Party as a black man, and that he was threatened if he stepped outside of the building there would be hell to pay.
And he said he was told that, or he relayed that he was told that by the 2 Black Panthers you saw outside.
He did.
Did that poll watcher, the Republican poll watcher, ask you to do anything?
He asked me what we were going to do, and I said, I have 2 attorneys with us. We've already called back to headquarters. I'm certain by now the police have been called. If they haven't, we will call them as soon as I get back outside. I asked if he was okay for the moment. He said as long as he didn't have to go out of the building.
Did you make a call to the police?
I did.
Were there any more comments from the individuals outside, the Panther members?
Cracker on more than several occasions from Mr. Shabazz. I never heard Mr. Jackson say anything. He did say something to Mr. Shabazz that I didn't catch, but yeah, I was called a cracker, white devil, told that I was going to be ruled by a black man on the next day, and I would have to get used to being under his boot, those similar things to that.
How long approximately were you both at the polling place?
45 minutes to an hour sounds accurate to me.
Same question I asked before. Did you ever see the 2 Panther members separate by more than a few feet?
Never.
Did
They were within arm's length of each other the entire time.
Did they ever move away from the entrance to the polling place?
Not until the police physically ordered them to.
If someone wanted to enter the polling place, how close would they have to pass from the Panther members?
Arm's length on either side. They were directly in front of the doors, no more than 5 feet in front of the door, and in order to get to that double door, you'd have had to walk right next to them.